NFL Week 9. All the top matchups. We're going to be diving into the ins and the outs of everything that we like in these top matchups between the better games of the weekend. So we're going to go check that out real quick. And then we're also going to be releasing our best bets. We're going to have those, talk about those throughout the course of this show as we're going through these games, but we're also going to recap those here at the end. So that being said, let's dive into NFL Week 9 preview. Scotty, let's get into Bears and Cardinals in this one. Bears and Cardinals are the number one team we're talking about right now. Arizona, 1-point favorites at home hosting the Chicago Bears, who, we saw kind of a rough start to the game last week as they were getting into that game with Washington. We'll see what they could do this week. Total set at 44.5. The money line, which is to win the game. Chicago minus 108 on the money line. Arizona minus 112 in this one. Scotty, go ahead. Lead us off.
Yeah, I think this is an important matchup in the NFC for both these teams. Obviously, the NFC North has been a juggernaut, and right now the Bears are, even with their solid start, at the bottom of that NFC North, and had the heartbreaking Hail Mary loss this past year. So how do they bounce back from that? They're 4-3, probably need to get a W here to bounce back. Arizona is a hard team to figure out. Like they look really good some weeks, and then some weeks they look like they've just played Call of Duty all week. I don't know what to attribute that to, Chris. I really don't.
Me neither.
But
I have an idea, but
well, yeah. Eventually, give me your thoughts because I can't figure it out. But then you have a fascinating. Right now, the NFC West is fascinating, Chris. Everyone's separated by a half game. There's 3, 4, and 4 teams, and then you have the Rams at 3 and 4 right behind them. So the Wild Wild West is wide open in the NFC, at least. Maybe not in the AFC. BW says Max Muncy strikes out looking. All right, 2 on, struck out looking. It's probably a garbage call without me looking. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a feel. I don't have a bet for this game. I don't have a great feel for this game. The Bears, everyone's like, oh, the Bears, obviously should have won last week. And I'm like, I don't think they should have. They were lucky to be in the position they were where they took the lead. They were outplayed for a lot of those games. Credit to holding Washington to countless field goals over and over again. 5 field goal attempts for Washington. Could never get in the end zone, but they were outgaining that game by a ton by Washington. But Arizona typically when they face off against a solid defense really struggles to move the ball. I actually probably like the under if I had to take a side here. I'd go under 44.5. This feels like a 2017 game to me. But I don't it's going to be fascinating to see who pulls this out, but I don't have a great feel, to be honest.
First of all, keep close. The COD this year is good, to be fair. Keep close. Where do you play?
Sure it is.
I was thinking about I haven't bought a COD game, a Call of Duty game in years. It's been probably 4, 5, 6 years since I got a Call of Duty game. And part of me is kind of intrigued. I'm kind of thinking about it, but I'm like, wait a minute, when am I going to ever play? So keep close. Where do you play? Do you play PC or let me know? Maybe I'll get it. We could jump in. But B-Dub, the Bears are who we thought they were. That's what this is. Yep.
But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, I don't have a best bet in this one. Arizona, here's the thing. Where if I had a lean in this one, weirdly enough, given how slow Chicago starts games, I lean Arizona in the first half in this one. I think the spread is minus a half a point in the first half.
That would make sense.
You just got to be winning the game.
It's money line.
Yeah,
Actually, money line probably makes more sense with a 1-point spread. Yeah.
Yeah. So either way, first
you can
half
push on a tie.
Yeah. Matt Eberflus never has his teams ready to play on the road. They're 3-17 straight up, 7-13 against the spread. their first half is staggering. In his 20 road games, they have led at the half just twice and have been tied just 4 times. So that's 14 times behind. 13 times they've trailed by at least 3+ points. They have 7 points or less in 5 of their last 6 first halves on the road. They're minus 116 first half road. Hey,
All right.
Joe, thank you so much, Joe. Welcome
Thank you,
in,
Joe.
everybody. Guys, go follow Joe. I popped in on his stream the other night, and he had an amazing show running. So go give Joe a follow. We love JoJo in here. Thank you, Joe, for the raid again.
I'm like KC and he's JoJo.
Casey and JoJo. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
So
you guys want us to break out a couple of Casey and JoJo songs? Just let us know.
I see what you did there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the Bears defense 3rd in pressure rate, Bears 4th in points per games allowed. Kyler Murray 3rd in QBR this year, 77.4. But the slow starts for me. The slow starts for me are just, it just makes me feel like that first half Arizona feels good. So if you wanted to bet that, I would support that. It's not an official bet of mine by any means, but yeah, like you, I don't on the overall game. I think that this has actually moved to 1.5. So the Bears are plus 1.5 now on this one. So it's too much for me to find an edge that I really feel great about. I think the metrics I've seen have around 2 points. So you kind of lost your value on the spread, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah,
We got STG saying Patrick Mahomes is on the Action Lab tonight.
special
You know what we
guest
do.
Patrick Mahomes.
And then we have someone else that thinks it's Sideshow Bob. So thanks, Joe. But what about when I have my goat mask on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard Kermit talk yet.
I don't know if I could talk like Mahomes. no,
No, that was-
just turns into like
that
turns into like
That's
half
Smeagol.
Jar Jar,
half
and
Gollum.
Smeagol, and
That's
like yeah,
Smeagol.
Gollum, and
Yeah.
nope, that didn't work at all.
Yeah. So
It's like when I try and do a British accent, it sounds like Australian. quickly.
never again. If
All right, well,
Good day, Mike.
That again.
yeah, let's put
Another
another
shrimp
shrimp
on
on
the
the bobby. Yeah. That was quite the disaster. It's okay. It's okay. We'll redeem it. We'll redeem it next. So there you go. Football. Let's move on to the Falcons and the Cowboys.
Oh, I got this at a good number then. Holy crap.
I have a green ball in one hand and another in my other hand.
Ooh,
Turns
no,
out
I don't
Kermit
think this was ever
begging
4.5.
for mercy.
I think that's a typo. I think it's
Especially
actually
like if it's
2.5.
if it's 4.5,
I think it's
I'd
2.5,
feel
and I typoed that.
It's
Okay, I was about to say if it was 4.5, I'd feel great.
Oh,
about
it's two-
my bet.
No,
2.5.
It's 2.5.
yeah. It's and actually, let me double check
So your
and make
3
sure.
number is not great. Um,
Yeah, Cowboys here visiting the Falcons. The correct line is Cowboys are 2.5 point underdogs going into Atlanta. The over under set at now, it went down to 51.5. And plus 134 is the money line for Dallas. Minus 158 is the money line for the Atlanta Falcons. By the way, thanks, Joe, for the bits and the joke. I have a green ball in one hand and another in my other hand. Turns out Kermit was begging for mercy. Hey.
Spicy.
Yeah. Spicy Kermit. All right. So,
no, I'm just kidding.
all right, let's dive into this one here. I was talking to you guys before the stream started, and I was thinking to myself, the 51.5, it seems like a high number. But I'm looking at these teams, and the Atlanta team total over 27.5 was one that was on my radar. And I'm just thinking maybe the over is just generally a good bet in this one as well. I don't have a side in this one. I don't have a best bet. However, the lean over for Atlanta 27.5 feels like a good spot. Cowboys are allowing 154.6 rush yards per game, second worst in the NFL. Falcons offense, 7th in yards per game, 12th in points per game at 24.3. Falcons have scored 26 plus in 4 of their last 5. The offensive line is getting a little better. They've got a little rest advantage, home advantage against a horrible defense. Dallas, on the other hand, has allowed 28 plus points in 5 of 6 and beat the 49ers, moved the ball over them. The 49ers just crushed. Dallas is allowing 28 points per game and 32nd in the red zone defense category. Cousins is a 99.4 rating in 11 games versus Dallas with 18 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Falcons have just have too many weapons here. If anything, I feel like they can eclipse this 27.5 against the bad Cowboys defense. And the Cowboys are going to have to score, I think, 30 to get in the range of winning this game, in my opinion, have a chance to win it. And that's barring any Dak interceptions that'll help the Atlanta Falcons. So, if anything, the overs and the team total overs are going to be on my radar for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I've been down on Dallas. They have not been good. Even when they look at like the game against Cleveland, it turned out to just be fraudulent anyway. They look bad otherwise. Defensively, offensively, they can't. There's too many turnovers, too many bad decisions from Dak, and too many times they're settling for field goals. Yeah, it's a one-dimensional offense. They don't have any run game. If only there was a running back that wanted to go there in the offseason. That's been pretty good this year. But I can't explain it. I just have a weird feeling this game. I think Atlanta people and we're the ATL lab.
ATL lab.
And I still feel like Atlanta's not playing up to the level that I thought they would. They're worse defensively. They're not good defensively either. Let's be clear.
True.
They don't have any pass rush to speak of.
Zero
pass
rush.
Hold people to a lot. Like Tua came back and put up a 27 spot last week. In his return.
That was against Arizona.
That was against Arizona. You're right.
They played Tampa Bay.
Okay. Tampa Bay without any wide receivers put up 26. That's what it was. So same thing. Actually worse. So I think this will be a high scoring game. The over probably does hit. I have a weird feeling that Dallas somehow wins this game. They don't turn the ball over and they don't settle for field goals. They actually put it in the end zone. They'll give up points, no doubt. I mean, their defense, and not to mention their defense has been bad, and like their two best corners are both questionable this week. Diggs and Bland are both questionable. So that's not helping the situation either. Dallas is going to have to make a decision to actually want to tackle. That would be appreciated.
What's wrong with Diggs? Does he have a bruised ego after last week?
Maybe.
You saw the presser, right?
No.
For the interview.
I did not.
Oh yeah, he went off on a reporter for something he tweeted. Like, what is Diggs doing on this play?
Yeah, I did see that. Okay.
And then he apologized after, and
just let Jerry.
What time is this game? It's a day game.
It's a morning first slate, so you'll get.
Okay, it's noon. Cool.
Yeah,
it'll be involved in the witching hour.
Yes. That's the only thing that's holding me back from taking a side in this one is the fact that Atlanta's lack of pass rush. They have zero pass rush. And just if Dak has time to throw the ball, it's going to be relying on the wide receivers to get open. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb will be a focal point for the defense. So, understanding how they can take him away, but then can the other receivers beat you? I don't know. It's any quarterback should be able to have success if you have time, and I think he will. So
I saw the stat recently to go along with what we're saying. Matthew Judon, the guy that got from New England, he hasn't had a sack since week 1 to week 2, something like that. and he leads the team in sacks.
Yeah. New England knew what they were doing on that one. They don't know what they were doing with their trade they made this week. Gave up maybe the best edge in the game. Forgot what team got him, but they just couldn't believe they did that.
Rec, you said you have a best bet in this game?
Yep, I am taking the Falcons. I didn't get a good number on this. I got -3 for Atlanta. Again, like I think Atlanta's offense is good enough to just roll the Cowboys. Like, I know Kirk isn't the most clutch guy, but like if you're asking me who I'd rather take in a bigger, like some of a bigger situation between Kirk and Dak, I'm going to take Kirk.
Wait, you got it at -3?
Yeah.
You get it at -2.5 now for Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, I would move it, but then there's another bet I have where that number would get worse if I change something. So I'm gonna stick with what I got.
Okay. All right. There you go. Yeah.
Like the site we use is weird. It's kind of weird with the stuff. Like I can't change them all, but we'll get into it later. There's one bet I feel really good about.
All right. Well, let's move on. So Scotty, to recap, has a good feeling about the Cowboys, and I love
For no reason.
for no reason, just a gut feeling.
Yeah.
He loves it. He loves the Cowboys because I have Atlanta, obviously.
No, I had that gut before knowing you liked Atlanta, but that certainly helps my gut feel even better.
All right, let's get into it. All right, Broncos at Ravens coming up here. Broncos at Ravens. This one, Broncos visiting Baltimore. Spread is 9. Is it still at 9? Let me double check and make sure that we're still. It's at 9.5.
9.5. Yeah, depending on
9.5, which pretty big number. Over under set at now 46.5, so it ticked up a little bit. 340 plus 340 for the money line on the Denver Broncos, -430 for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is strictly I don't have any leans one way or another, or like best bets one way or another. I have a lean towards Denver is 9.5 in this one, plus 9.5. If I had a lean, it would be towards Denver, but I can see Denver keeping this one close with a backdoor cover in the second half because I know the Baltimore Ravens are absolutely abysmal in giving up points in the second half. They give up the most points in the second half of games to the opposing team more than any other team in the NFL. Denver, third in pressure rate, so their defense is going to be a big factor in this one, going against a pretty potent offense of the Baltimore Ravens. Denver's rush offense has been bad, and they will not be able to run on the Ravens. I don't think the running game has just been so spotty for the Denver Broncos. So it's going to be relying a lot on Bo Nix to throw the ball, which I'm a little bit terrified about. But if there's a way that you could throw on the secondary, there's been teams that have been able to do it. I just think that the Broncos have a chance to backdoor cover this one. I don't know if they win this game. I don't think they win this game. But the Ravens rank 30th in opposing passer rating and made even Gardner Minshew look really good this year. Denver 8-2 in their last 10 road games dating back to last season. So that's
against the spread.
Against the spread, yeah.
Just want people to fully understand. Of course, they're not 8-2 in their last 10 road games.
Denver's ranked 6th in opponent passer rating, first in net yards per play defense, first in net yards per play defense, and then third in red zone defense. Baltimore's ranked 29th in opponent passer rating, 28th in net yards per pass play defense, 25th in yards per play defense, and 19th in red zone defense. There's a lot of just opposites in this game, and I know the Broncos offense is a struggle, and I know this is going to be the first challenge for the Broncos generally because they've been playing some pretty easy teams in the last couple of weeks. But even special teams, Denver number 4 versus number 25 for the Ravens. this leans Denver keeping this one more close than people expect. So if I had a lean, I would go Denver plus 9.5, but don't know if I can make it a best bet.
Yeah, I think Baltimore losing last week certainly doesn't help Denver in this scenario. I think they probably take this game a little more seriously and need to bounce back after the loss to the Cleveland Browns last week. Denver, yeah, I mean, winning some games, haven't obviously played great opponents, especially this is by far going to be the best offense they've faced. Now, this might be, I mean, this is the worst pass defense they're going to face. You talked about those numbers. The Baltimore pass defense has been atrocious this year. And no one wants to talk that. But like last year, Baltimore had one of, if not the best defense in all of football. And this year, for whatever reason, whatever's happened, they can't stop the pass at all. So it'll be interesting to see if your boy Bo, why can't I say that? Boy Bo. Hard to say.
It's my quarterback.
Gets it going and gets in a rhythm. He's gonna have some opportunities because, like, they're gonna have to put up points in this game because Baltimore is gonna put up more points than any team has put up against Denver this year. I almost guarantee it in this game. So it'll be probably we talk about, a lot of times Denver games being boring. This might be a back and forth little offensive affair. 9.5 is a big number, obviously. So, like, obviously people in Denver are starting to believe in the Broncos. Vegas does not yet at this number. We'll see. I honestly don't have a good feel on this one. I hope both teams lose, to be honest, if that's possible.
With that,
Broncos are one win away from hitting their preseason win total of 5.5. So they win this game, and they eclipse that, by week 9. So who knows? Who knows?
Now I'm looking. They may not get it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at their schedule. They may not get it.
Oh man, no shot. Gonna go.
I think this is the give-right game for the Ravens. Like, they lost a bad game. They're pissed. They're going to take their anger out on the Broncos. I would lean more. My gut feeling says that this would be a blowout for Baltimore. I don't want that, of course, but that's what I feel like it would end up being.
Rick, you would appreciate a Denver Broncos win this weekend. You would
100%.
You would love
100%.
You're a Broncos fan this weekend. Let's just be real.
Yeah. Yes, and I don't like being a Broncos fan. It hurts a lot.
Broncos win this one because no one will expect that, says Diacola. F the Ravens. Give me Denver Donkeys. Their secondary can't catch a damn pass when Jameis hits them on the money.
That drop pick from Kyle Hamilton is huge on that game-winning drive as well.
In Bo Chris trust. That's true, Nick. Yes. Please read my comment about the Ravens about Jameis. Yeah. Famous Jameis. All right. So yeah, we'll see. I think again, it wouldn't shock me if this was a more close game than you expect. So, but I could also say it wouldn't shock me if it was a 24 point blowout. I don't know. But there you go. Hamilton dropped 2 passes, I think. Yeah. There's something's wrong with this Ravens secondary.
Bo will throw them a couple, so we'll see if they make a play or not.
Yes.
Well, I will say it also helps the Ravens have what helps the Broncos here. Ravens have a quick turnaround. They play Thursday against the Bengals on Thursday night following this game. So
look ahead spot.
Wow, it's a good spot for the Broncos. Even with the loss of the Ravens last week, you still have a look ahead to a division rival coming up on Thursday. So that might help the Broncos as well. Now the Broncos are looking ahead to a division. Well, we'll use the word rival loosely, but a division opponent next week as well. So, but not on a short week. So
correct. I'm gonna laugh if the Ravens lose to Bo after losing to my dog, famous Jameis. Ow.
Yeah, I mean, right now Jameis Winston's a better quarterback than Bo Nix.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
People sleep on Jameis. Jameis will do a lot of stupid things, but he'll make a lot of big plays too.
Peaks and valleys.
And
Peaks and valleys.
Apparently, Kyle Hamilton just didn't want to catch those stupid plays.
Poor man's Jordan Love.
Maybe.
But anyways, love. I'm excited for this game this weekend. We'll see what happens. Speaking of an exciting game, Lions and Packers has the chance to do that as well.
Game of the week.
This is
hopefully.
We'll see. There's injury issues with,
especially on one side with.
Yes. So Green Bay hosting the Detroit Lions. Current line is this one has been moving all over the place. And Scotty, this was Sunday night after you left. Rec and I were talking about some of the games, and this line opened up at Green Bay plus 4.5. And which is, I told everyone on stream, I was like, this is probably going to be my best bet of the week. I'm locking in this number before it goes down. And sure enough, it went down to 3.5 is where it's sat right now. Over under set at 47.5 as we look at it on FanDuel Sportsbook. Green Bay Packers plus 144 on the money line. Detroit minus 172 on the money line to win. So this game, I saw this line, Scotty, on Sunday night after we recapped all the games. And I was like, I don't see it. I don't see this. This was Rec. You remember this?
That's got to be assuming there's clearly a play in there that they think Green Bay, perhaps. I mean, it's got to be Jordan Love. They have other injuries too. Jair Alexander didn't practice today. Josh Jacobs didn't practice today. 3 of their 5 offensive linemen didn't practice today. So there's a lot of pieces that are questionable right now for Green Bay whether they'll play. But obviously, if Jordan Love plays, you gotta love this line. This line, if Green Bay was healthy, this line would be a lot closer to like a pick 'em.
Correct. Yeah. Love is day to day. MRI, by the way, came back negative. I think late yesterday.
Groin strain.
It's a groin strain. So yeah, they're monitoring. Groin strains do linger, so I'm a little worried about it. But
it's like a hammy.
Yeah. I mean, this is a massive game. If Green Bay wants to win the division, this is a huge game. Detroit is at their absolute peak that they could possibly be at, right? They're coming off a blowout win. Everything's firing on all cylinders. Goff leads the league in yards gained per pass attempt and completion percentage. I mean, he's all like everything points to the Lions, and a lot of money's coming in. The public's coming in on the Lions. What have I talked about over the last couple years, Scotty, when it comes to Jared Goff? Jared Goff, his splits in a controlled environment at home versus on the road outdoors when the weather's getting cooler out, right? There's a nice little home advantage here for Green Bay. This line, even at 3.5, I feel fairly confident that Green Bay is the right side here, which is why it's my best bet. I got it at 4.5. I still like it at 3.5. Even if Malik ends up playing in this game at some level, we've seen him be able to, stay in games. The defense of Green Bay has been able to keep them in games as well. And he's somehow found success. He leaves Tennessee, and all of a sudden he's put in a position where he can actually, have some success from the coaching game plans and everything else with the talent around him. So Green Bay's the side here.
Yeah, real quick before I get into this game as well, there are quite a bit of updates in the World Series game 5 here.
2 sack flies for LA.
2 sack flies from LA with a catcher interference in between them, where Shohei, and then the Yankees challenged, and it was clearly catcher interference, so I don't know why they challenged it. But so in the top of 8, Dodgers 2 outs, top of 8, take a 7-6 lead. So they are 6 outs away from a World Series title. Still have 2 on, first and third with 2 out here. So we'll see if they can add on to that.
And the MVP is at bat. No, not
Freddie.
Shohei, the other MVP.
Freddie.
Ready. Okay.
So we'll see. But yeah, Chris, I'm with you on this game. You always want to fade everyone's perception of. Obviously, you had a Detroit team that won by put up 50 some points last week, won by 1 million.
With 220 yards.
There's a perception, right? Yeah, with 200. And I talked about that on Sunday. They didn't actually have to do anything to get those 52 points, but credit to still getting that 52. Now and I'm not saying it's a wrong perception, but there's a lot of talking heads that are now like, well, last week it was Baltimore's clearly the best team in football. And now Detroit's obviously the best team in football. And what happened to Baltimore last week, Chris? They went in, lost to the Browns. You have Detroit team not knowing fully who to prepare for. I'm sure they're preparing for Jordan Love. Strained groin. I do think it's going to be, I'll put the odds of him playing at like 55%, maybe slightly better. I hope he plays. This is the game of the week on paper if everyone's healthy. And we'll see with some of those other pieces. I'm sure Josh Jacobs will play. Jay Alexander got like hurt on the last play of the game last week on defense for the Packers. So we'll see on that. And the offensive line will be another big piece because it's their 3 on I think the right side. Although one of those guys misses practice every week on Wednesday, that's like a rest day for him. So that's probably not as concerning. So, but 2 guys that are a little up in the air and questionable right now. So a lot of injuries for the Packers, but at Lambeau, one of the few, we've talked about this, outdoor games for Jared Goff this year.
Yep.
We know Jared Goff is not an outdoor game quarterback. I have not actually looked at the weather. I hope it's awful for this game. I really hope it's awful. If it's bad weather, and Freddie Freeman does strike out, so we're going to the bottom 8. No more damage. Dodgers 7, Yankees 6, going to the bottom 8. But yeah, there's a lot of things trending here where I just like Green Bay.
Weather on Sunday, 55 and potentially rainy.
See,
Ooh.
just mail it. Just don't even show up, Detroit. You're done. Why even come?
I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that. That just adds to me feeling so good about this game.
Yeah. If it's raining, you can't feel great about Jared Goff. I don't even know if he's played an outdoor game yet this season. I know they only have like 2 or 3 all year. And I don't know if he's played one yet. So maybe he has. But yeah, I think it's a perfect time to fade Detroit a little bit in a game that may not outdoors against a team that looks battered and bruised, but Green Bay is getting a little disrespected here. Should be closer to a pick 'em. I'm with you. I'm on Packers as well.
Feels good. This might be, this feels like a lock of the week. I love this pick. So, guys, again, 3.5. If Love is cleared to play, I think this might even drop down to maybe 2.5, considering there's like the injury news.
It'll be under a field goal if he plays.
It'll be, because I don't know if they're going to push it all the way down. If he was healthy, it would be like, close to a pick 'em, like you said. So if he doesn't, let's say he doesn't start this game, this balloons up to like 4.5 to maybe 5, maybe. Who knows? It goes the other direction. But I would still kind of like it there. Even with Malik, I would still tend to like that spread. So
Nick says, not so fast, Scott. I'm a believer in the Lions and still a believer. Give me the Lions on a game-winning field goal. I'll take the Lions on a game-winning field goal. That means I win.
That means we cover and we cash in. That's right, Nick. We can both win. I
don't really care who wins this game if the Packers can at least keep it to a field goal or less.
But yeah, after that, I saw the line at 4.5, and I told Rec on stream, I was like, man, this is going to be my bet of the week. All right, let's move on to the Colts and Vikings. This is a crazy, weird game. I have some thoughts on this one, too. Colts visiting the Vikings. Now, the spread on this one is 5.5 now. So, Indianapolis Colts plus 5.5. Visiting Minnesota, over under at 46.5. And then we also have Colts on the money line plus 194, and then Minnesota on the money line minus 235. Scotty, if I had a lean in this one, it would be Colts getting points. Weirdly enough, it's not a best bet because I don't know. Part of me, there's some hesitations on both sides. Minnesota's coming off a loss with extra time. If Anthony Richardson was playing in this one, I would be, I think, on the other side. But Flacco gives them a little bit better of a chance to win. Even their coach said it this week in the media where he was like, yeah, Flacco does give us a better chance. But here's my question with this, though. My question is, like, what does this do to his, the development of your young quarterback? Like, he needs the reps. He needs the experience developing. Obviously, he's not the player that's going to get you over the hump, but you got to take your lumps. You got to learn how to lose and how to, figure out how to play in the NFL. I know it's going to be tough. I know for a fact, but this doesn't, it's a Band-Aid for the Colts. And I get putting Flacco in to win a game, but what is, in the grand scheme of the development of Anthony Richardson, it's just a confusing move to me. Flacco's not your long term.
I'll tell you why they did it, Chris. And it's one reason and one reason only. Coaches get fired after 2 years on their job all the time now in the NFL. And coaches are like, all right, I don't want to have to sit here and wait for this QB that's not giving me my best chance to win right now. And I'm going to be out of a job because we're not doing well enough, and they're going to bring someone else in. So all this is the head coach making a decision of like, I'm here to give my team the best chance to win. Is this the best play for Indianapolis long term? No, of course not. Are they going to win anything legitimate this year with Joe Flacco? Of course not.
No.
Are they a better team right now with Joe Flacco at the helm?
Yes.
So I think it's Steichen just being like, I don't want to lose my job. I would like to continue to be a head coach, and my job as the head coach is to give my team the best chance to win. That's what I'm assuming it is. I'm sure the GM's furious, whoever that is. I don't even know who the GM is.
Chris Ballard.
Oh, I do know who it is. It's Chris Ballard.
Yeah.
Definitely knew that. He's from the Chiefs. Yeah. Just wasn't thinking about it right now. I assume with how involved that owner is in Indy, like, he probably had to get his blessing, to be honest, before making this move, because he's a little outspoken and likes a little more control. So, are you going through the wash right now, Rec?
Wait, that's me? I don't hear anything.
Well, that's because... no, it's fine.
We got the haunted laundry going on at Rex's house.
He's like in the washer right now. Because of Flacco in this game getting the start, and I think Indy's, I wanted to be like, all right, I want to take Indy plus the points, but Indy's defense is just so bad that I don't know if I can do it. So with that being said, I'm going to go the opposite of Medic here. And I love the over. It's one of my bets of the week. I'm taking the over here. I think Flacco can sling the ball. Flacco's going to throw for 275 plus in this game. I think Sam Darnold's going to have a big game. They have a little extra rest. They're coming off 2 consecutive losses after the undefeated start. Is that a trend moving forward, or they just need a little bounce back? We'll see, but I think there's going to be a ton of points in this game. So I love the over. I think both teams will score here. Update in the World Series, bottom 8, 1 out. Judge doubles down the line to get a double, 1 out. Yankees still down 7-6.
Ooh, getting
We'll
spicy.
see Chisholm at the plate for the Yankees, looking to tie it up or take the lead here with their World Series lives at stake here.
Yeah. So getting to the chat real quick. Richardson missed most of his rookie season with injuries, but it's still alarming that there isn't enough progression in his year 2, despite losing so much on the field, time on the field last
He's
season.
completing like 40% of his passes. I feel
Yeah,
like.
and
it's just unacceptable.
yeah, it's
The problem, like you're talking about his development. His development was fucked the moment Jim Irsay said he's starting for his rookie season. Like, I mean, we talked about it a lot last year. Even throughout this year, how many games has he played since high school? 20. And you expect him to be a quality starting quarterback? Like the Colts. I know we debate a lot about like when you should start a quarterback, but with how wrong it was, you should have dropped the fuck out of him. Just sit him on the bench for 3, let him develop mechanics, and we give him a little bit of time in garbage time, and maybe the last week of the season when things don't matter. But like, he's still extremely raw. He's barely played since high school.
Yeah.
And you
Yep.
like people that like the expectations that he was going to be the savior immediately is asinine. This is the Colts' fault. This has nothing to do with Steichen or Ballard. This has everything to do with Ursay being a fucking idiot.
And
He
they
ruined this.
also have just maybe the greatest backup quarterback to ever exist.
True.
So-
Yeah.
I mean, when he starts as the backup, he's a troop. He's
Uh,
elite. He's
Flacco.
elite Joe Flacco.
Flacco with the dad.
Him or Fitzpatrick.
He's a dad grunt coming
Who's-
off the couch, says Erecto. Yeah, exactly. He's waking up from his afternoon nap, and he's coming out. He's gonna win a quick game, and then he's gonna go back and catch the afternoon steak dinner, and then go fall asleep again. So yeah, I mean the Colts. Here's the thing: the Colts defense also has lapses, so I'm worried about that. But the Colts rush offense is their strength, and that's Minnesota's absolute weakness. They cannot stop the run. So I don't know. This game is just all over the map with me. I don't have a lean one way or another. But yeah, Scotty, you got over in this one.
I
So
like the over.
there you go.
A walk to put 2 guys on now. 1 out, top of 8. And
now there's 2 outs.
guy named, you're ahead of me. Neat. I was going to say Stanton's up to bat with 1 out and 2 on. But apparently he's not up to bat. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore.
So I got this game. I got this number at 6. I got the Colts plus 6. I took it as soon as I saw that Flacco was starting. Like Sam Darnold's trying to revert back to the Sam Darnold that everyone kind of expected. I still like the Vikings could still win this, but again, like with Flacco, like unless it's the playoffs, the Colts will always have a chance to win at very least. Give me a team that's going to be right in there with plus 6. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, and again with that Colts rush offense, time of possession, keeping Vikings on the sideline, their offense on the sideline. There's a chance that this is going to be a closer game. If I had a lean, actually, if I had 6 in this game for the Colts, I feel great about it. So, yeah, I mean that would be the side if I was able to get the 6. All right, let's move on. Rams and Seahawks. So this game is an interesting one as well. This feels like an NFC West battle that is going to kind of have a turning point for both of these teams. Los Angeles Rams visiting the Seahawks. The spread is, I think, 1.5 now, if I'm not mistaken. It's 1.5. The Los Angeles Rams are 1.5 point favorites on the road. Over/under set at 48.5. Minus 126 on the money line for the Los Angeles Rams. Seattle Seahawks plus 108. This opened up at the Rams plus 1.5, and I actually ended up teasing it up initially when it first came out with another game. I think I got Rams plus 7.5. when it was still when they were underdogs. And I paired that with the Ravens opened up at 8.5 with the Denver Broncos, and I teased them down to minus 2.5. So I got early in on these two on this this little teaser. Not an official best bet, just something I put in earlier. But then I was shocked when I was like, oh, the Rams obviously. It's weird that they're all of a sudden favorites in this matchup. So the tides have changed, and I think getting Puka and Cooper Kupp back, it just feels like a turning point for this Rams offense that I was so high on going into the NFL season. You remember, Scotty, I was really high on this Rams team. I was like, they're going to outscore you, but they're also going to give up a ton of points. But their offense is just so good with Kyron Williams, Puka, Cooper, and all of that went to shit when they got hurt. And now they're starting to get back into the swing of their offense. Matt Stafford is a baller, 7th in pass success rate. On the other side, Geno's 9th in pass success rate. So you got a nice little competitive battle there. But Seattle can't stop the run, and now the Los Angeles Rams can throw. They kind of like to run the ball. Seattle -4 in turnover differential on the season, which is 6th worst. They don't have DK, unless I'm mistaken. I think he's still out. Here's another crazy thing. LA Rams yards per game allowed 351.7. Seattle 356.5 yards per game allowed. Sean McVay is 7-2-1 against the spread in his last 10 versus the NFC West, 9-5 against the spread versus Seattle, and 5-2 against the spread at Seattle. McVay 15-7 against the spread on the road in the NFC West. Seattle's 1-5 against the spread, and covered just once in 5 home games. So if I had a lean, it would be the Rams. But it's not an official best bet for me. I kind of left it alone. I feel like if I had a lean, it would be the Los Angeles Rams to win this game. I just think that this is the Rams team that I was expecting to see going into the season. And can Seattle keep up with this LA Rams offense without DK? We'll see.
Yeah, you also have the extended rest off the Thursday night for the Rams last week. You get both. Obviously, they get both guys back last week and beat a good Minnesota team to get themselves a 3-4. And now, 2 weeks ago, all the talk was where's Cooper Kupp getting traded, and now they're half game back in the division, and I don't think he's going anywhere. They obviously feel like they can compete to still make the playoffs, and from there, who knows? I agree their defense has a lot to improve on, and it just may not be great this year, but Seattle's hard for me to figure out. I feel like I'm always on the wrong side of Seattle. But the Rams have the better quarterback. They have the better wide receiver core without DK for Seattle. I don't necessarily consider Seattle's defense like some sort of world beater. I think they're going to be able to move the ball. I would lean Rams in this one as well, but that's just a lean. Just a lean. Sorry, Nick. Maybe you're right. Maybe JSN becomes what they thought he would be, and Tyler Lockett, who's been in the league for 800 years, but still producing,
I mentioned all of the yards per game allowed by both of these teams, 351 and 356 respectively for both, which is why you love the over in this one. Correct?
Oh, I do have the over in this one.
Like how I segued into that.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. I forgot. Sometimes I forget my bets.
A single there.
I have it at 47.5 instead of 48 here, but yes, I feel like both these sides will be able to move the ball. You talked about the lack of defense on both sides, so this is another over I like. I usually like betting unders. I'm not a big over guy. But I'm on 2 overs this week, so we'll see with Indy and Minnesota and then this one. But yeah, I like that offense is now going to wake up in LA, and Seattle will have to score to keep it close. And I think that'll be able to with some big plays down the field and perhaps some long runs from Kenneth Walker. So Give me the over, Chris, of course.
Of course. By the way, single for the Dodgers, and then also fly out. So 1 down, 1 on first for the Dodgers at the top of the 9th. As we sit
3 outs away.
3 outs away, we're almost there.
And they're gonna get the bottom of the Yankee lineup in the 9th. So
Correct. Okay. So that puts a bow on Rams Seahawks.
I should double check that. Maybe it's not the bottom.
Nick, I knew the Bills will beat us, but this game we need to win. But again, no DK. And again, we still got JSN, Tyler Lockett. Screw it. I'm still sticking with my Seahawks. But the under. So he's on the other side. Wow, scorched that, but it's a bit out.
Big out.
Yeah.
Big out.
Yeah.
But it's an out.
But it's an out. Yeah. All right. Next up, we got your boys coming in, Bucks and Chiefs in this one. This game, Bucks visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. And let me get you the updated odds and spread for this one. Tampa Bay, 8.5 point underdogs visiting KC. Over under set at 45.5. And Tampa plus 330. Kansas City minus 420 on the money line. Scotty, your boy's gonna cover this spread against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean this one's tough because these are two teams obviously trending in bad directions, Chris. Both, showed some promise at one point in the year, but I mean recently they just haven't played well, both these teams, right? So trending in bad directions. Bucks obviously with injuries at the wide receiver spot with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who both won't play in this one. And the Chiefs are just falling off a cliff. I don't even know why people talk about them anymore. Just a trash organization, and so I don't know why they're 8.5 point favorites, Chris. They've never won by double digits ever in the history of their franchise, I believe. It's never happened. So this one's fascinating. Like, you have a Bucks team that fought hard and competed last week and still put up 26 without any semblance of wide receiver play. Like, your leading wideout now is Trey Palmer maybe. And a defense that struggled in Tampa all year against the Chiefs offense that has no wide receivers, Chris. Added DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe he'll be a bigger factor. Obviously he was only there 2 or 3 days before their game this past Sunday. So maybe, and this game's the Monday nighter. So maybe be a bigger factor there. I don't know if you guys could tell. I was being a little sarcastic with some of that, Chris.
I didn't get any sarcasm whatsoever.
Okay.
I
sometimes it's hard to tell.
My sarcasm detector was off. It didn't read anything there.
Didn't read anything. Yeah. Another week, another reason why Kansas City isn't good, actually, despite winning 13 in a row now, Chris. They're still not a good football team.
They're kind of trash. They're kind of...
Their offense, who I think is still scoring top 10 in the NFL, is obviously not good enough. And it's not like they've ever stepped up their play in the postseason or ever proven themselves where, even if they struggle at times in the regular season, it's not like they've ever done anything in the postseason to prove otherwise. They're basically like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, who were a week ago the best team in football, and still some. Oof. I think Ryan Clark was on TV today saying of course the Ravens will beat the Chiefs if they played. If only they had played at some point this year. But it's probably just because, Chris, the Chiefs haven't played any good teams, No. Yes, the Chiefs have 4 wins against what right now, would, based on odds and projected wins, would be playoff teams. But Baltimore has 2. Detroit has 1. Buffalo has 0. Those are really good teams that have just beat a lot of good opponents.
Are you gonna get a week without Salty A. Smith?
No, you're not, because I deserve to be salty every week because we are disrespected each
The
and every week. I could
disrespect
give
card.
0 shits on how many points we win by. Yeah, the Raiders got a late backdoor cover after being down 14 late. Neato, gang. Guess what? How many times do they have a snap with the ball with a chance to tie it? Zero, because we knelt on it after they scored their touchdown. All right. Chairman, great teams covered. No. I think the adage is great teams win Super Bowls. I think that's the adage, the old adage. So yeah. I hope the Chiefs don't embarrass themselves on Monday night, Chris.
Long story short, let's just hope they don't lose a 8.5 point spread to the Bucks. No, this is one of my best bets of the week. I teased down the Chiefs. 8.5 is a great teaser number. To get me down below 3, or to get 2.5 on this first leg of my teaser. These teams are both going in 2 different directions. Baker's thrown 7 picks in his last 3 games. Faces a pretty solid defense on the road, if not one of the better defenses in the NFL. Bucks defense is falling apart. They've allowed 33 points a game in their last 4. Injuries, just Tampa Bay is battling injuries, but yet, still able to get some production last week, which I thought they would be able to against a team that didn't have a great defense. Kansas City does. Kansas City also has scored 26 points in 3 in a row and has 2 double-digit wins over the NFC this season. Mahomes 13-5 against the spread versus the NFC since 2021. 8-2 against the spread versus the NFC since last 10, and a plus 7.5 point favorite. As a plus 7.5 point favorite. So, there's just all the metrics scream Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not taking it at 8.5 just because of any backdoor covers. I know that Tampa Bay could still be trying at the end of this game, even if they're down big. And I know the Chiefs just want to get away with the win, and they kind of take their foot off the pedal if they have a big lead. They play better from behind, and even if they happen to get behind in this game, I still love them to win this game. Either way, I got them teased down to 2.5. Love it. And I can't remember if we discussed my other teaser in this one already. No, we have not.
We did.
I will get to that other teaser.
I guess you have multiple ones.
Candidate.
I'm confused. Chairman said Scotty makes it so easy to hate the Chiefs. I just talked for 5 long minutes about how trash they are.
Well, I think it's because you didn't. Maybe instead of more of a preview style, you had more of a rant style, which, hey, it works. It works.
What am I supposed to preview on Tampa Bay? I previewed everything. They don't have any wide receivers. They're floundering. They're losing games. And their defense isn't very good. So there you go.
There you go. Got it.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs to win, but I am taking the Buccaneers plus 8.5 because of all the reasons Chris said.
More disrespect. I don't think you were listening to
Another one.
Chris's stats, if you think that's what he was saying.
The stat
No, the stuff he said after that, like how the Chiefs tend to just want to go away with just want to walk away with the win. They will give up that backdoor cover pretty easily, like they did last week. And we saw that the Buccaneers offense actually play well even with the lack of receivers last week against Atlanta.
Against who?
So honestly, against Atlanta.
Okay.
But it's like
just want to make sure we knew which team that was.
And honestly, with the Buccaneers plus 8.5, the under looks kind of juicy because the Chiefs don't exactly score a whole lot of points, especially when they don't have to.
No, we certainly don't.
Let me reverse psychology. Give me the Chiefs by a manslaughter. That means over. Pat goes perfect. No picks, no fumbles, a whole lot of Travis touchdowns for Swifties. That sounds more in line with what we want to hear, right? Nick, you nailed it. There you go. That's the preview.
There you go, Nick.
So then he's saying he's doing that so the Bucs
there is some
better
reverse psychology there, perhaps. So good luck. Good luck with the reverse psychology.
Taking the under smells like a 17-7 game, says Joe. So 10 points still covers for the Chiefs, even on the big spread there.
17-7. Chairman, you can't tell me we're not disrespected when we have people saying 17-7 game in this one. The Chiefs might have 17 points at the end of the first quarter against this Bucs defense.
By the way, going to the baseball game, 2 on, 2 out, top of the ninth, runners on first and second, and
it's the end of the top of the inning.
And there is a ground out to finish it up. All right, so the Yankees go to
3
the
outs left.
bottom of the ninth with a chance to steal something here and keep the series rolling. We'll see. All right. Moving on. That's it. All right.
Nope.
So let's go ahead. There's some other best bets that we did not cover. So we're going to get to those here next. So let's go ahead. Let's recap the best bets and take a look at what we didn't talk about here. Scotty, I think we talked about all of yours except for one, I believe. And then I have 3 on my board that we did not cover. So we're going to get into those.
Yeah, I think the one I didn't cover is Jacksonville plus 7.5 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Part of that is I don't know how much Philadelphia take. They're coming off a big win last week against Cincinnati. Now they get a relief game against a team in Jacksonville that doesn't win a lot of football games. But Jacksonville to me is quietly playing, especially offensively, a little better. Lost a back and forth game 30-27 that could have gone either way to Green Bay this past weekend. Put up 32 the week before. 37 2 weeks prior to that. So 3 of their last 4. Jacksonville's offense has kind of woken up. I think that'll be enough to keep this close. I know Philadelphia's defense is actually playing at a pretty high level. But Jacksonville, even when they lose, they just, outside of the Bills game this week, you look at their losses, they lost by 3, 5, 4. I guess they lost to a lot by the Bears, and then 3 as well. So a lot of their losses are tight field goal, something games. And I think people are kind of undervaluing the Jags at this point. So I think they can keep it within a touchdown or shoot. Let's just win outright.
Win outright.
All right. Money line Jacksonville. Let's go.
I would not like that because I have that as my other teaser leg for Philadelphia. And real quick, I want to get to the chat here. There's a couple here. Eagles wearing their god-awful Kelly Greens this weekend. So if you're not a fan of the Kelly Greens, it's funny how Scotty allows everyone to make him mad about being undefeated. He's probably be happier if they were 5-2 or 4-3.
I'm not really mad. I just want to point out how bad your guys' takes are when it comes to the Chiefs, and how it really just comes from it comes from a place of just you're sick of the Chiefs being good. So I understand it. I understand where it comes from. I'm just telling you that it's ridiculous and wrong. That's all.
Just coming in on them.
The salt flows in pink.
All right, so Green Bay plus 4.5. We both have. So teaser in the Philadelphia where you were just talking about.
I just said money line, so you're gonna lose that teaser, Chris.
Yeah. So this teaser, I got Philadelphia teased down. They just have to win the game by at least a couple points. Trevor Lawrence, 27th in completion percentage, 62.6. Brian Thomas Jr. missing time. I think he's like 2 to 4 weeks. Hurts, 6th in yards per attempt at 8.1. Eagles 2nd in rushing yards per game at 165.9. Jacksonville defense, 4.2 in yards per rush allowed. So Saquon, Hurts, figuring things out. They get to the goal line. They're pretty much automatic, even with the tush push, even with what they try to put here on those short yardage goal line carries. This is Doug Peterson's return to Philly, so there's that. We got a little storyline there. But Trevor Lawrence is 3-13 versus the NFC, losing 10 times by a touchdown or more, and 12 times by 6+ points. 4-12 against the spread with a cover margin of -8.3. Jacksonville's 30th in the NFL, allowing 28 points per game. 30th in the NFL, and then the Eagles defense has been getting a little bit better. So that being said, I took the big number out of it, teased the Philadelphia Eagles down to -1.5, and I love it there. So that's.
Did you say Brian Thomas Jr. is out in this game?
I believe
He's
so.
out
Yeah,
for 2 to 4
yeah,
weeks?
Is he
Yeah,
out?
he's out. Yeah, he's hurt for a while.
I thought Christian Kirk got hurt. Brian Thomas did too?
Yeah, Kirk's out for the season.
Yeah.
Thomas is out for just a few weeks.
I'm
All of
looking.
a sudden,
I
Sky's
see him as questionable, but I'm looking. All right.
all of a sudden, Sky's regretting his.
He's like,
his
"Ee."
last dance.
I don't love that.
Ew.
But I also
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know that you're right. So
Chat, double check it. See if the.
I mean, ESPN has him in their like whole article about fantasy this week. They don't say anything about him being. It does list him as questionable, but I can't find anything.
So I just read he was limited. He was limited in practice today, but he had a
limited?
non-contact. But he had a non-contact jersey, so he wasn't actually doing anything. He wasn't doing a whole lot today.
Dude's playing.
Yeah, of course he's playing.
I'll
I mean,
make a bet on
non-contact.
that right. I'll make a bet on that right now. Brian Thomas is playing this week.
All right. Well,
Anyone?
they're going to need
Anyone?
him. They're going to need him. I could have sworn someone said they was out for a little bit, but
Someone lied to you.
maybe it's a lie. Maybe people lying to me. All right. So let's continue on. I have Buffalo -6.5. Now, Sergeant Erecto throws something interesting in the chat. Daylight saving times ends on Sunday. Last 3 Bills games on the day when daylight savings time ends. Bengals 24, Bills 18. Jets 20, Bills 17 in 2021. Jaguars 9, Bills 6. Josh Allen threw 1 TD and 5 interceptions in those 3 games. I know the Bills dominate Miami, but that's notable. Interesting. I did not know any of that. I didn't get into the daylight savings time stats for, but
I didn't. Yeah. I don't have a like website where I'm like, tell me more about how teams play in daylight savings.
it's it's notable. Real quick, we have 2 outs in this. We might as well just
1-2 count.
I'll get to my Buffalo and New England picks here in a second, but want to close out what may be the last out of the Major League Baseball season here. The Yankees up to bat, need a miracle,
And a swinging strikeout. The
What?
Los Angeles Dodgers.
You are
World
you are
Series
so far ahead of me.
champions.
I'm still on 1-1.
How does it feel?
Strike 2.
Should have muted him.
I should have. All right. So
Dodgers win the World Series in 5 games. They get the gentleman's
it
sweep.
hasn't happened for me yet, Rex. So right now the Dodgers aren't champions.
I'm not sure it has happened.
No.
Like Brian Thomas being injured.
Walker
And there it is.
Buehler gets the
Okay, and there it is. The Dodgers.
They've done it.
Dodgers have
And
won.
come from behind fashion tonight, down 5-0. Come back, get a 7-6 win. And they are World Series champions. Obviously, they got the World Series championship a few years back, but a lot of people like to discredit that one, Chris, because that was called COVID year.
No COVID championships
60-game
count.
season.
This one, no one
Agreed.
can dispute. No one can argue. No one can not give them credit. The Dodgers win the World Series, and they do it with a Shohei Ohtani that's probably not healthy, and wasn't really a factor in the World Series at all. But they still get it done. Freddie Freeman, big piece there, obviously. Mookie Betts. I mean, they still have so many damn good players on that team. So, yeah, happy for. I wanted the Dodgers to win, even as a Rockies fan over the Yankees, but I might be one of the few.
Yeah. I
I'm
think.
at least happy that Flaherty and Edmund got a ring. Happy for the former Cards.
Well, there you go. Congratulations to the Dodgers. The World Series title is coming back to the NL West. So we have something we can own, I guess.
Where it belongs, Chris.
Where it belongs.
And I think everyone's won it the same amount of times, so
yes.
it's very leveled out.
It always sucks when the second best team wins, says Medic. Walker Buehler will be will be at the Breeders' Cup this weekend. Delmar looking to get another expensive watch stolen from him like he did at Santa Anita in September. I mean, didn't even know any of that happened, but now I do. That's crazy. All right. Well, all right, let me get to these last couple picks and we can get you guys off and running for the rest of your evening. All right, so Buffalo, as we mentioned, obviously daylight savings is a thing, but that doesn't change the fact that Buffalo has absolutely owned Miami in general. Tua, I'm going to rattle off a bunch of stats here, and all of them are just ugly for Miami. I get Tua came back, and I get that they're a better offense, so I think that plays a little bit, but Tua's 3-8-1 against the spread away from home versus winning teams in his career. He's 1-6 straight up against Josh Allen. He's 1-7 against the Bills in his career. This is if the Buffalo Bills win this game, they pretty much put a bow on the division. Like, they feel really good about where they're at in the division, so that gives them the peace of mind going into the latter part of the season. Bills are the far better team. Since 2019, Josh Allen is 10-1 against Miami, completing 69.5 of his passes for 277 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions with a 113 rating. Tua versus Buffalo is 61.9% completion, 6.8 yards per attempt, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 74 rating. The weather's getting cooler in the Northeast, so that's not going to help a warm weather team coming to a colder environment. You're not going to have the 85-degree weather that you're used to. But Buffalo 5-1-3 against the spread in its last 9 versus Miami, covering on average by 11.5 points. Buffalo 4-2-1 in the last 7 home games versus Miami, covering by 10.1. And they've won 6 of their last 8 meetings by a touchdown or more. So you're giving me under a touchdown? I think I'll take it. There's a lot of stats there, Scotty, that I
agree. And the reason you might be on the right side is because of the historical context of they've just owned Miami, including earlier this year. My one hesitation is what I kind of talked about, referenced briefly earlier, Chris. This is who Buffalo's beat this year. The 4-4 Cardinals, the 2-5 Dolphins, the 2-6 Jags, the 2-6 Jets, the 1-6 Titans, and the 4-4 Seahawks.
They've beat the bad teams.
Not beat. Correct. Now,
is Miami a bad team?
There's some. I mean, with Tua, obviously there's some reference point there where like maybe they're not as bad as their record. However, Tua did play for the most part in this one. This was the game he got injured in, but that was pretty much when the game was already completely out of hand. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just pointing out that, and yes, the Cardinals, in 2 of those games, they beat the Cardinals by 6 and the Jets by 3. So some
close.
of those were closer, a couple of them. So I'm just saying that I don't the hype train on the Bills. I think Josh Allen's the second best quarterback in the world, and that's why they'll always be dangerous. But the Bills tend to do weird things at times during the regular season where they lose games they have no business losing. But they own Miami. They absolutely own Miami. So
it's as long as the daylight savings doesn't derail anything that I need here. Daylight savings. Totally missed.
And you're right. What's the weather in Buffalo on Sunday?
Yeah, let's take a look at the Buffalo weather.
Sunday, gonna be 57. Pretty nice.
57 and sunny.
Buffalo. 57 and partly sunny. Yeah.
Okay. So about 30 degrees less than what they would be in Miami, which, I guess
Yeah.
it's still going to be nice.
No precipitation and no
inclement-
wind for factor, really. So.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So maybe we'll see. We'll see. All right. And now let's get to my last one here. New England plus 3.5. I mean, we've seen Tennessee and how bad they are. And now Tennessee's a mess. They have a decent defense, but here's the thing: like home favorites, which is what Tennessee is, off of a loss of 30 plus, are 24, 33, and 1 against the spread, 42% since 2003. These are two bad teams. I don't see a world where Tennessee is a 3.5 point favorite against anyone. Like, I know New England's bad too, but
Is Drakey boy playing in this?
I don't know.
He got concussed, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it was a concussion.
Probably,
Let's see.
Probably up in the air at this point. At this point,
he is younger, so he's younger, so he will recover a little bit quickly.
Correct. So, and regardless,
it says this also says he will be a limited participant in practice.
Concussions are.
That was from Gerard Mayo.
Kind of up in the air. You never know at this point, so we'll see. It's too early in the week to know.
Yeah. So, I mean, even let's say Jacoby Brissett comes in, I think that he has a good chance to keep this game within reach, and I think the New England Patriots have a good chance to even potentially just win this outright. But I know they're both bad teams. Two bad teams. I'll take the 3.5 points all day, every day. So I feel really good about New England here, getting the extra half point when this is going to be one of the worst games of the week, and neither team is going to want to take it. And we're going to look at probably just a close game here between two really, really awful teams. So that's going to wrap up my best bets of the week. Rec, what are you liking this week?
I like the Colts at +6. I feel like that one's easy. I like the Buccaneers +8.5. Again, just like I mentioned, like backdoor cover seems like a thing that the Chiefs sometimes like to do. I like the Seahawks just because of how weird things get sometimes. And I like the Falcons -3 because I don't trust Dallas in the slightest.
Okay. All right. So
one little note from New England, Tennessee. I wonder how many games there have been where both coaches end up being one and done. I don't think either Mayo or Callahan are head coaches next year.
It's looking pretty.
Doesn't help that Belichick's basically calling out Mayo,
yeah,
on TV. It's not a great look for him.
I think at one point in time they even said, like, man, head coaching is hard. Yeah, no shit.
Kinda not as easy as you would think.
Callahan a longer leash than one season, but it hasn't been great thus far. But they also don't have a quarterback, so the quarterback plays let him down quite a bit.
Yeah,
it is funny that I know Callahan has nothing to do with this. I love how Malik Willis is absolute trash. So maybe getting traded for a 7th round pick last year doesn't happen. Does get traded this year for nothing, and he's suddenly a half decent backup.
Yeah,
like he suddenly figured out how to throw football the second he leaves Nashville.
I mean, sort of. They asked him to throw like 10 times in Green Bay, so it's a little fool's gold on that. They won both those games, but I'm
yeah. And he did also win in Jacksonville, even though he didn't start that game.
Yep.
So there you go. Those are the picks of the week. Hopefully you guys, take a look and see if there's any picks you love. If you have any picks you want to share, put them in the chat. Like to get to know what you guys are liking this week.
I just realized the Patriots. This will be the third straight tank bowl that the Patriots are playing in. Yeah, the Jaguars, the Jets, and now the Titans. Man, if the Patriots were a good team, they'd be threatening for the play. If they were decent, they'd be threatening for the playoffs with this easy schedule.
Yeah, but I don't think either.
Turns out they suck.
Yeah, turns out they
Yeah.
can't figure out anything. This is the 5th straight year Will Smith has won the World Series. The catcher won 2020 in 20 and 24, and the pitcher won
2024.
3 different teams, 21, 22, 23. What?
Yeah.
What?
Maybe we
Yes,
get-
there's 2 guys
maybe
named
we get
Will
the
Smith.
actor to win next year. We'll see.
Slap a home run to deep left.
Losing those 3 would have been too obvious of
Pretty
a
good at
tank.
slapping.
Yeah, I mean, that's a historic tank run, for sure. If you're losing
It
3,
really is.
seriously, that would be the tank of the century. So there you go. Those are our best bets. Guys, we will be back live. We're not going to be live tomorrow. We got trick-or-treating duties for our kids, so we won't be live tomorrow for Thursday Night Football, but that doesn't mean we're not going to be checking up on the Discord, so make sure you join the Discord. Discord in the chat rec for everyone who wants to join in on that. And also, too, we are always at actionlabsports.com, and then we are always going to be back here live Sunday night for Sunday Night Football. We have a bingo. We have the game that we're going to be watching. We're going to recap all the Week 9 action. So make sure you stay tuned for that as well.